OUX, this object-oriented UX thing, is a philosophy for designing digital systems that just respects the fact that people think in objects. And then ORCA is this framework, okay? This is the framework that helps translate research and requirements and complexity into beautiful blue, yellow, pink, and green sticky notes, creating order out of chaos and doing it pretty quickly too. So wrangling complexity around ORCA. Okay, so ORCA stands for objects, relationships, CTAs, and attributes. And they nicely align to our masking. You have to figure out what the objects are so that you cannot mask them. Figure out what the relationships are, map those so you don't have your isolating. What are the CTAs on this thing? Prioritize those CTAs so that we can make sure to connect them to said objects and figure out what all our attributes are so that we can avoid shape-shifting and mixing those attributes up and showing some here and some there. Aligns beautifully. So we, the OUXers, we answer these questions before we get into screen design, okay? 1 is, what are the objects in the user's mental model? 2, what are the objects' relationships to each other? 3, what calls to action do objects offer up users? And 4, what are the attributes that make up those objects? Getting us to the best acronym in the whole world, ORCA. All right. So, ORCA is a process. Now, I don't want to overwhelm you. Y'all, it's 15 steps, 4 rounds. And no, you don't have to do all of them every single time. And this is people are like, oh my God, 15-step process. This is a framework where you can pick and choose these tools, and it's always going to be massaged for the context, okay? And this does not mean you need to spend 6 months on the ORCA process. Round 1, which is the discovery round, which we basically ask a really amazing questions about the O's, the R's, the C's, and the A's. Get everybody on the same page. Bring our stakeholders into the complexity so they're like, it's not really that complicated. And you're like, it actually is really complicated, but I don't know how to describe how complicated it is. This is how. This is how you can bring them in and be like, yeah, actually, I've got questions. And here's how you can ask really, really good questions. Then we go into requirements. Really, this is what I call practicing UX at high resolution, not like pixel resolution, but like getting into those details, all right? Just in relationships, for every single relationship, you could explore deeply. You could explore the cardinality. You could explore sorting and filtering. You could explore dependencies. There's so much here that has so many implications on the user experience design. And we go in deep so that we save time in the long run. Prioritization. You can prioritize all these. This is a great way to build a roadmap and also to prioritize from the user perspective too. How are we prioritizing our attributes? And then how are we releasing things? So this is from a project management perspective, from a roadmap perspective, as well as from a user experience perspective. And then we bring it all together into representation, of course, sketching, prototyping, and testing, which often people just start right there with sketching, prototyping, and testing. And then we iterate, which I believe is a little bit of a euphemism for rework. We want smart iteration. We don't want just to be like, oh, well, this didn't work. Go back to the drawing board. All right. So here's a simple checklist for your next actions. ID the objects, map those relationships, identify your roles, list CTAs, and list attributes, okay? Y'all, this is easier said than done though, especially if you're working with a lot of complexity. So we've got you. We've got you. Hopefully this is just the beginning of our relationship and you're getting into the deep end of OUX.